Hi, everybody. How are we?
Hi.
How are we all getting?
Hey. Good.
How has everybody's week been?
Terrible. Busy.
Did somebody say miserable?
Mine's been terrible.
Oh, terrible. Oh, Lorraine, what happened?
So firstly, thank you for having me. It's my first session as I've become elite.
Oh,
Welcome.
well done.
I know, how exciting. That's been like the highlight. Yeah, mum's got dementia, so I had her in meltdown, and then I've had legislation changes to deliver. So I worked from 8 yesterday morning until midnight.
Oh,
And
no.
I've been back in work again today.
Oh, no. How are you still functioning, Lorraine?
I don't know if I am, to be honest. And then today's just been really tough because working at my place, it's a bit like herding cats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I've
And
got nothing done that I needed to, and I've ended up having to sort out like behaviour issues with staff.
Oh, no. And is your mum in care or is she at home with you?
No, she lives in retirement flats, but
Okay.
so yeah, I'm frazzled. But I didn't want to miss it because obviously I was invited to join Elite, I think last week. So
excellent. Well done. And what are your goals with Elite?
I think because I'm week 13 and I still haven't had any weight loss and I haven't lost any centimeters. For me, I still feel like I'm at the start of my journey.
Okay.
So Elite obviously gives me that sort of longer platform, and I still feel like I need the support. And I think I've come a long way, like mentally. But I'm waiting really for like my body to catch up. Yeah, and I just was panicking a bit about week 12 and sort of falling off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and you made the right decision. Can anybody remember when they were back at that point to give Lorraine some guidance?
I was the same. I didn't lose very much until I started on well, it was the second one then, because I went from the 12-week one to the next one, and then I went up to EPP afterwards. So yeah, I was very much the same. Didn't lose anything at all. Very disappointed. Now I've lost I've gone from a size 18-20 down to a size 8-10.
Oh,
and I've lost 24 kilos.
Oh, that's amazing. Well done.
Done, Danny.
Me. I joined in December 21.
And when did you start losing weight?
It was round about probably a little in week 10 and 11, but I gained again, and I didn't start losing properly until I started the next session.
Okay.
So
there's hope for me yet.
Yeah, I would just say stick with it, and you know, if you keep doing your good habits, the results will come.
Coach just kept saying, trust the process.
Yeah,
it does work.
It is difficult, I think, because I didn't lose any weight at all. I still haven't. I've put weight on, and I think you just have to look for other things, but it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I think it is because even though obviously we shouldn't compare, it's really hard not to, because you're all in the same process. And when there's everyone sort of saying,
yeah,
oh, you know, I've chucked my big knickers away and like I'm in a thong now and that's all I wear around Tesco's, you're a bit like, oh my goodness. No,
I wish.
not quite.
Well,
anyone else prior to that, but yeah.
I'm definitely not wearing a thong round Tesco's.
No, doing it round Marks.
I'd like to see it.
Don't wear a thong anywhere.
Anyway, I started losing
now.
Almost at the beginning, but then now it's been I don't know, 6 months that I'm plateauing. So you know, I think that every journey is different. So we just have to stick with the process, do what's good for us, and get the new habits that are good for us. So which
Yeah.
I got a lot. So
It is difficult not to compare. I mean, even sort of, I'm often do this to myself, especially when I'm talking to people about the gratitude calls and we're going through what they've achieved. And I feel like for the last 8 months, I've been wading through treacle. Most of it outside of my control, but it doesn't actually make it feel any easier. So I sometimes get downhearted about like people's. I feel like I'm not progressing in any area, like mindset, fitness, and weight. Although I had turned the weight thing round again this year, and I had lost like nearly 5 kilos since coming back off holiday. But it's just comparison is just such an awful thing, and you do it to yourself, and it's trying to. So like when like I see so many positive posts and things, and I'm like, why can't I be like that? Why can't I do that? And I know that I will. It's just like obviously I'm not well at the moment, and it's just incredibly difficult. And I think at the moment, like my mood, my emotions are very low, and I find myself doing it all the more. So like I'm always in touch with David, my coach, and I haven't messaged him at all this week until today.
Okay.
I've told him some sad news, and I've just said I haven't spoken to you, Dave, because like I'm struggling. I don't know what to do, and I think he's got enough on his plate, and so it's just it's difficult, and it is difficult, but you've just got to keep going, and that's why I've joined tonight, just to try and keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you've had sad news, and it's super difficult. But and I think sometimes when you are at that low point, it's like the hardest place to be to actually reach out and ask for some help, and that's actually probably the point where you do need to, because there's so much support, and you well, I don't know your coach, but I mean I drive mine bonkers, like absolutely
Who's your coach,
mental.
Lorraine? Catherine, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a minute's silence when I joined Elite because I said she's stuck with me now. So,
well, I joined platinum on David's birthday.
Oh,
And bear in mind, he's already been stuck with me for 2 years. So
You
then
don't try, David.
happy birthday! You've got me for another 2 years, David. And he went, you could look at it. You're stuck with me, and I just said, I know who got the better deal, and it certainly wasn't you. So he's got the patience of a saint, and he just like as I was tweaking my message, because I often delete, I just tweaked it, and it comes straight back to us, and he went, just in your own time, and I'm here when you need us. And so even that just helps.
Well done. Yeah. So well done.
It is, I think, asking for help is when you're recovering, Deborah, I'm there with you.
Yeah.
And
much worse than mine.
I think, no, Deborah, everybody, you should never say that, because we're both on a journey and we're both recovering. And I just keep remembering my whys and where I was back in June, because although my recovery is definitely taken longer than I ever thought, it's slow steps, it's little steps, and you'll get there. And I just look at the ladder. I think of a ladder. And yes, I was there in June, but Jesus, I've had huge surgery and a lot to do.
I mean, I think the emotional thing,
it's the emotional.
I think physically I'm doing okay. Emotionally, I'm doing crap. I'll be honest, I'm doing crap.
You've had a lot to deal with. Not just your recovery. So just remember that.
Yeah,
it's hard when you recover from surgery. I mean, I haven't had the same surgeries as you guys, but I had hip replacement 4 months before that. I was in hospital having my thyroid out. I've got to go back into hospital to have injections because I've got nerve damage to the right hand side of my body. I feel like I'm constantly in hospitals with one thing and another, been on crutches, been immobile, but and all of it takes an impact.
It does. I've got another role coming up, and it's the last one, but I know that's going to knock me back a bit, but I'm prepping for it mentally already. You know, because I know it's gonna knock me for a bit, but it's not going to put me out like it has. So I just have to mentally prepare myself. Every day is different. I'm emotional. I didn't think I'd ever be emotional again, but last few days, Deborah, must be the moon. There's
That
something
probably
going
could be
on.
my backside in the thong in Tesco's, Deborah.
I guess I need to thrive.
Now I'm going to have that vision, Lorraine.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
time I feel a little bit low in the next day or two, that is
You
the
know
vision
what?
I'm going to
Honestly.
look at.
You know what? It's really weird because like there's somebody who put, I can't remember who it was, but they put a post on about underwear on the in a circle, and I like nice underwear, and I was gutted. I had to go back to buying some big granny knickers.
Yes.
Out of them, Deborah.
Everything. And I put them on, and I was like, I said to Peter, Jesus, how high are these? They were like over the top of my trousers. I was
Deborah, be grateful that you've managed to get out of yours. I haven't. I pull them up. Honestly, I literally like tuckle me flabdominals and that round the side, pull them up and breathe in.
Well,
Can you stop giving me visions, Lorraine?
Mine are going to go back in the bin because I'm not getting them anymore.
Well, I think tonight's topic is very relevant to what we're all talking about here. So let's have a look at it. Is there anybody new? Anybody else joining us for the first time? Just before we. No.
Is it just me? I'm just the new one.
Lorraine, you're the newbie. So Lorraine, just to kind of give you some housekeeping. So what we do is we'll have a chat about our topic for this evening, and we'll be in the chat box. So if you'll see below, there's a chat option. So we'll be in the chat box for the first half an hour or so, 20 minutes, and then we'll go off into the breakout rooms and chat about the topic. And then we'll come back in and we'll have a chat about whatever we were talking about in the breakout rooms. Okay, so I'm going to share our slides for this evening, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so tonight's topic is going to be all things resilient, right? And resilience. So what I'd like you to do into the chat box is I'd like you to give me your definition. No right or wrong answers. Just want to get a sense of what would your definition of being resilient? What does that look like? What does it mean to be resilient? What does resilience look like? So I want into the chat box, I want you to have a think about what does it mean to be resilient? Okay, so let's have a look. So Anne is saying the ability to keep bouncing back. Very good. Yes, excellent. And that's a very important point, because oftentimes we can have this sort of view of, oh, resilience is everything is going great and I'm handling it all perfectly. And it's not. The point is with resilience, we still get knocked down. We get knocked back. We experience setbacks. We have days where we fall apart, but it's in the bouncing back part. And that's the key part of the resilience. Yeah, very going. Yeah, excellent. And Clarissa is saying, just keep on going, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Yeah. And as Anne was kind of tying in what Anne was saying there, you know, we might be going through a period where it's one thing after another. And instead of allowing it to all kind of pile on top of us, we're taking one step at a time and just keep moving. Yeah, exactly. Because as humans, we're all naturally driven to move forward. We're sort of thinking about the future and where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And that's a good thing. And we want to be able to kind of go with that flow of life. Now, again, with the flow of life, we know there's going to be all sorts of hurdles and everything that we're going to hit along the way. But it's much easier for us to keep moving with that flow of life than it is to kind of fight back against it or say, well, here, I'm going to actually go backwards, or I'm going to sit down here and I'm not going to go any further. So yeah, very good. And Hannah said, able to cope with challenges. Yeah, very good. So the challenges are going to come thick and fast. We know that. And, you know, life loves to throw us more and more, you know, just when we have enough on our plate, here's a few more. But absolutely, as you said, Hannah, it's the ability to cope with it. It's how do we respond? Do we react in a way that we're saying, right, I can do this. This is not going to be easy, but I'm pushing forward. Or do we kind of more go into crumble mode? Yeah, very good. And that able to cope is very important because, you know, after the last number of weeks, we've talked about things like attitudes. So attitudes towards ourselves, attitudes about the world, but our attitudes about coping are very important. So do I feel like, okay, this is a really tough scenario, but I can cope with it and I will cope with it. And that's as important. That belief is as important as the actual coping part of it, which is very important. And Jane is saying the ability to bounce back from difficulties, very good. Yeah, exactly. And the difficulties are going to come and they're going to keep on coming. But again, it's our bouncing back. Yeah. And Deborah's saying not giving up. Yeah, very good. Even though we feel like it, you know, and you might just have that last thing on your plate that you just think, just what is the point? What am I doing? Where am I going? But you say, no, even though life is throwing all of this at me, I'm going to keep on going forward. Yeah, very good. And Sonia is saying, fight back and do not give up. I love that. And that's a great way of using that energy, because oftentimes we might be feeling a lot of frustration. We might be feeling a lot of anger. We might be feeling a lot of sadness. And it's much better for us to use that and push it forward than maybe use it and sort of, you know, attack ourselves with it, which is never going to be helpful. So it's like, what's the challenge? Okay, yeah, I'm going to take this on. Watch me. And use that energy to push yourself forward, as opposed to, as I said, putting ourselves down. Yeah, very good. And Lorraine is saying strength, bouncing back and keep on trying. Very good. Yeah, exactly. And like we said, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you fail. You keep trying and then you keep trying. Yeah. And Caroline's saying to cope with setbacks. Very good. Yeah, excellent. The setbacks are going to happen, but it's how we choose to cope with them. Yeah. And Heidi being able to bounce back from setbacks. Excellent. Yeah. And Jennifer saying bouncing back after setbacks as well. Excellent. Yeah. And Clarissa saying no quitting. Yes, very good. Even though everything our brain might be saying, oh, listen, give this up, pack this in, change the goal, change this, that, or the other, right? And it's understandable, especially if we're under a lot of pressure and we're feeling overwhelmed and our brain is like, where is my way out of here? But we have to say, no, you keep persevering. Yeah. And even when it's hard to see that light at the end of the tunnel, but it is there. And Sati saying, not dead, can't quit. Yeah, I love that. And not giving up. Yeah. And using, as we said, our energy that we have to push forward. Yeah. No excuses to quit. Excellent. And Jackie saying, deal with curveballs. Yeah, very good. Life loves to throw those at us, doesn't it? And it often is as well. It's those curveballs that we don't anticipate. We don't, you know, I mean, to a certain degree, we can anticipate setbacks or challenges. We could say, if that happens, I'll do this or I'll do this. But it really is those curveballs that we didn't see coming. They are really hard and they really do hit us hard. And it can be much harder to bounce back from them. Not impossible, just harder. Yeah. And Andrea, coping with what comes at you. Very good. Yeah, excellent. And Deborah was mentioning that earlier, you know, oftentimes a lot of these situations are out of our control. Some of them we can control, some of them we can have some sort of influence on, but a lot of them, it's just life is coming at us and we can't stop it coming at us, but it's how we choose to respond to it. Yeah, very good. And then going for a goal and not giving up despite the setbacks. Excellent. Yeah. And it's again, we get knocked down. Do we sit there and unpack and stay there? Or do we go, right, pick myself back up, dust myself off, and I move on? And I know it's easier said than done, but that's how you achieve your goals. Very good. And Denny, getting back up time and time again when something knocks you back. Excellent. Yeah, fantastic. And Sonia saying, never lose hope. Yeah. Hope is a really powerful, I don't know what word you call phenomena, really, really beneficial when you, and it's so connected into resilience. There's been a lot of research done on hope sort of in the last around 20 years. And it's really, really interesting because what they find is that if you tend to be I think they call it a high hope person. And remember, high hope, life happens to high hope people, curveballs hit them, setbacks, you name it. But if you're high hope, there tends to be a certain sense of, right, well, I wasn't expecting that, didn't see that coming, but not to worry, we plow on. Or if we've got a big roadblock in our way, people who have high levels of hope tend to say, right, I've got to think about an alternative route here. And very quickly and efficiently, they find that alternative route. And I'm going this way. And hope is really, it's a really, really interesting concept, because even when you look at scenarios where it's not, the odds are not great for somebody achieving something, or the odds are not great for somebody being able to do something, if they have hope, you can actually defy the odds. Hope is that thing that can actually drive you forward and get you over that line, even when something might seem quite impossible. So it's really, really interesting. And hope is centered around that positive psychology that we've talked about previously. And again, positive psychology, not toxic positivity. Everything's great and wonderful, because we know that's not life. But positive psychology is really about, we need to build on the good and develop the good. And hope is a really, really important one there. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And Jackie's saying, remind yourself there is always hope. Yeah, excellent. And Denny, striving forward for your goals. Excellent. Yeah. It doesn't matter, you're falling into potholes, you're getting run over by this or that, but you just keep on going. Yeah, very good. And Heidi is saying, sing it with me. I get knocked down, but I get up again. I love that song. That's such a great, that's a great example. Heidi will get you to sing it at the end. But yeah, it's such a good song. Yeah, excellent. And that's it. And that's life. Because again, it's that interpretation of, okay, I've been knocked down again, not to worry, I'm getting back up. And the strength to keep going through tough times. Yeah, very good. Exactly. And tough times are going to be tough. We can't eliminate that from it. They're going to be stressful. They're going to be upsetting. But it's really about, okay, I'm going to make the best, right, of a difficult situation or a stressful situation or a tough time. And again, reminding, we don't want to pour more misery on ourselves, because that doesn't help us in any way. And Jackie is saying, you're saying is lie is hope, faith, and life is hope, faith, and love. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, exactly. And those are the good things, as we said, the positive psychology, the good parts of life that we need to develop and we need to continue and build. Very good. Well done, everybody. Those are excellent, excellent definitions. Okay, so next question is, why is resilience important? So why would we need resilience? Can you think about some scenarios where we might need to dig deep and use our resilience? Why might we need resilience? Okay, so thinking about, right, some of the benefits of it. Why is it important? When might we use it? So Sadie's saying, in the training room. Very good. Yeah, excellent. Particularly if maybe we're having a tough day or a tough session. Yeah. And when things are getting you down. Yeah, very good. So it could be things in life, could be things in family, it could be work, it could be our goals, hobbies, anything that's bringing us down. Yeah, very good. And it could be a combination of factors all at the same time. Yeah. And Caroline says we needed to achieve our goals. Yeah, 100%. Right. I mean, if you think about people who are setting all sorts of goals, let's just even say take Olympics, because we've got Paris just down the road. All of those athletes who've made it to qualify and who get to Paris, they have resilience. They have to. There's no way you will achieve those goals without it, right? It's an essential component. And oftentimes that's one of the things that separates, well, how is it that some athletes go so far in sport and then others go beyond? Yeah, they might have some natural talent, but that's not enough. And more often than not, it's mindset, it's resilience that allows them to push through those tough times, because that's where success is. Now, but it's hard. It's hard to see it when you're, and I mean, we're talking about, trying to swim in treacle earlier. Like, it's hard to see, like, where am I getting here? Yeah. You get there eventually. Very good. And Clarissa's saying, when unanticipated things happen, such as a job loss, really, really good. Yeah, exactly. And again, it's, do I take to bed for 3 months, or do I say, right, that was very unexpected, very upsetting, very disappointing, but where do I go from here? Right. Okay. My route has been blocked. Now I need an alternative. Yeah, very good. And like we said, those are the ones where we really have to dig deep, the unanticipated events. Yeah. And Sonia's saying, at work when things are not going as planned. Very good. Yeah. And as humans, we like to have that sort of sense of knowing what's going to happen, knowing what's coming on down the road, knowing how things are going to pan out. And as you can imagine, when things are clearly not going that way, it can be very hard for us to try and reset and readjust, but it is really important. And Jennifer, to keep going when the unexpected happens. Yeah, excellent. And again, that can be really, really tough. And Lorraine, to keep going, or what else is there? We cannot stand still with weight loss for me at the moment. Very good. Yeah, excellent. I mean, you could choose to go backwards, but that's not going to do you any favors. Whereas if you keep going in the way you're going, you are going to have that weight loss. Yeah. But again, it's telling your mind that. Yeah. Excellent. And Heidi, to get through the hard times. Very good. Yeah. And Jane, to get back up when really shit stuff happens. Yeah. And if you don't have it, you just descend into depression and darkness. Very good. Yeah. And again, like we said, that's a sort of a destination. Depression and darkness is a destination we can drive ourselves to. We know we've got to live with disappointment and anger and all of those negative emotions. That's a part of being a human. But what we've got to make sure is, as we said, we don't drive ourselves down to depression and darkness, because nothing good comes from being down there. Very good. And again, resilience acts as a buffer. You know, if we start to go down that road, resilience is like, whoa, where are you off to? That's not a good idea. Let's go back here and figure it out. Right. Yeah, very good. And then Clarice saying, when you don't feel like doing something, but do it anyway. Excellent. Yeah. And that's sometimes we have to give ourselves that, you know, that kind of, I don't know, tough love's not really the right word, but we have to give ourselves that boost of like, come on now, come on, off you go. You need to do this. I know you don't feel like doing it, but go and get it done. You know, when it's done in a, yeah, you know, a kind of a forceful tone, but it's like, you know, it's still empathetic and compassionate and things like that. But you're absolutely right. And that is resilience as well. I really don't want to do this, but I need to go and do it. Yeah. And when you're caring for someone and it's been a long, hard road, the bit you need to be there for them. Yeah. And especially in a caring role, that's where you need buckets of resilience, because that is such a tough job. Absolutely. Yeah. And especially if they're hitting setbacks and things like that, or, you know, a different point on the journey, and making sure again that you don't transcend to, as we were chatting there, depression and darkness and places like that. Yeah. And Sadie says, people putting you down and you're resilient, so prove them wrong. Yeah, very good. And what we have to remember is when people are putting you down, they're looking for a reaction. They're looking for you to go, okay, fine, I'll go down into depression and into darkness. And nothing ticks them off more when you go, yeah, all right, you can throw everything in the kitchen sink at me and I'm going to keep on going. And I'll keep on going towards my goals. Drives them nuts. So yeah, absolutely right, Sadie. Yeah. And Danny, to give you the strength to face the worst thing in your life. Very good. Yeah. And we know those, you know, really, really tough things in life that we have to face as humans. And it is part of being a human. But again, it's just making sure that we're able to mind ourselves through that process. Yeah. Caroline, to get your steps in when the weather is constantly atrocious. Yes, very good. And it's just you're getting battered by the rain and you're like, this is fine. I'm nearly home. It's all good. Yeah, very good. And Andrea, relationship breakdown. Very good. Yeah. And again, that's a really tough thing, because it's that sort of severing of an attachment. As humans, we are biologically designed to attach to other people. And so again, from a biological perspective, when we do start separate from people, our brains are like, wow, what are we doing? So that can be really, really hard to manage. And resilience can really push us through that. Yeah, very good. And Jackie, diagnosis of an illness. Yeah, excellent. Or loss, trying to understand it. Yeah, very good. And certainly it's yeah, like I mean, when you speak to those who work in, you know, hospitals, and I know some of you work in hospitals, and we talk about resilience of patients, and patients who have just had one thing after another, but they just have this never-ending resilience, and it drives them forward. And that really is, it's so important. And we talked about hope earlier on as well, and hope very influential as well in terms of how we handle a diagnosis and things like that. Yeah, very good. And Benny, to get out there and show that you can do it no matter what. Yeah, very good. Like walking in the rain. Excellent. Yeah, fantastic. And there's a real sense of pride there, you know, because we don't get a huge sense of satisfaction when we do something and it was easy and it was simple. When you look back and you think, geez, that was really tough. Like think about like Tough Mudder, when you get to the end and you're like, whew. Right. I mean, there's a real sense of, geez, that was really hard. And I did really well. And that's exactly it. It's just, I stuck through it. I didn't give up and I didn't quit, and I kept going. And that's something that we need to celebrate. So it's very important, and kind of going back to what we were chatting about earlier. It's okay to have a meltdown. It's okay to have a day or a few days where you fall apart and where your mindset kind of goes out the window. That's fine. Resilience is being able to identify, yeah, no, I'm not in a great place right now. and maybe I'm not managing my stress particularly well, or maybe I've been very hard on myself, or maybe I'm going into a dark place, right? What do I need to do to turn this around? What do I need to do to push on in this direction? That's resilience. So it's very important that when we're talking about these concepts such as resilience, that we don't become perfectionistic about it. Resilience is not, I'm going to be happy and stress-free for the rest of my life, because nobody is going to have that, right? And resilience is not, I handle everything with absolute perfection and not an element of stress or upset, because again, that's not realistic. But resilience, again, is that I've identified, right, I'm in a tough situation, I need to get myself out of here, or maybe that my mindset has gone maybe in a dark direction, and I reflect on it and I push myself forward. And that is the resilience part, which is very important. And Jade is saying it's not just about the unexpected stuff happening, it's also about pushing through the stuff that has prevented you from getting to your goals previously. Oh, very good. Especially when those hurdles are ourselves, which are some of the toughest hurdles to overcome. Yeah. Such as lack of motivation, I can't do it attitude. Yeah, very good. Very good. And again, resilience is not the absence of those things, but it's the fact that they're present, but you choose to push on. It's the fact that you're able to manage it. It's the fact that you're able to go, yeah, I'm not listening, I'm doing it anyway. That's resilience. Very good. Excellent. And Jennifer's saying the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Mel Robbins, very good. Yeah, excellent. Fantastic. And Lorraine, eat the frog. Yeah, so you can do the nice things after, and it makes you stronger in the end if you force yourself through the hard times. Yeah, exactly. And again, I think taking pride in that, because it can be so easy for us to be always so perfectionistic and everything has to be great and smooth sailings. It doesn't. But it's looking back and saying, geez, I coped with that situation a lot better than I would have coped with it, 20 years ago. Or, I bounced back from that far quicker than I have in the past. And that's the little wins that we were talking about and what we need to focus on. Very good. Excellent. Well done, everybody. Jeez, you're all on the ball this evening. Okay, I'm just conscious of time and I want us to have a chat in the breakout room. So I'm going to fly through this fairly quickly. But resilience is the ability to persevere, right? To adapt and to bounce back, right? So perseverance, adaptation, and bouncing back, right? It's not, this is fine and this is great, right? It's not useful, but it's okay. You're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at me, but I'm going to keep going, right? Or this is a really difficult situation, but I can adapt and I can move forward. And that's resilience. So it helps us to enjoy life more, because we know we're going to encounter these difficult situations. No human on earth can escape them. So we know that if we can manage them, then we're going to have better overall well-being. We're going to be better off in terms of our self-esteem and things like that. It helps us to survive sadness, disappointments, and pain, which are all inevitable parts of our life. We cannot escape those things, nor should we. We've got to, when they're there, we've got to embrace the pain. But the main thing is that we're able to push through it. It's a temporary state. It doesn't last. And that's resilience. So if we're feeling sad, we're feeling disappointed, we're feeling a lot of pain, doesn't mean we're not resilient. Resilience is going to help us to manage it and to push through it and not do ourselves any harm or any damage in the process. So as we know, resilience greatly contributes to our good mental health and to our emotional health, right? Okay. So it helps us to face and manage both positive and negative life events, because remember, you can have loads of positive events that can be very, very stressful, and we need resilience for them. Helps us to persist in the face of obstacles, which we all know we're going to encounter, and also to accept circumstances that cannot be changed. And that's a tricky part. But again, that word, I think adaptation is very important, that we can adapt. These aren't the circumstances that I had hoped for, but nonetheless, I can move forward from here. Or I can sit here and I can try and fight the different circumstances for months, years, the rest of my life if I want to, but I choose not to, right? So it helps our psychological and our physical health, and particularly during those difficult times, as we said. Okay, so it's desirable, right? But we are all going to experience fluctuations in resilience throughout our lifetime. Like I said, this is not a quest in perfection. The most resilient people fall apart or really struggle with their resilience from time to time, right? And that's normal. And it doesn't say, again, it's the meaning that we give to that, right? Now, on the other hand, some people will never develop resilience, right? And if we don't develop resilience, well, life's going to be really hard, right? Others are quite resilient, but do not recognize it. And also they may avoid challenges that they could easily surmount. So we have to be able to recognize, and as we talk so much about the importance of celebration. We have to celebrate overcoming challenges. We have to celebrate our resilience. We have to say, Jesus, that was a really, really difficult scenario or event or whatever, and I got through it. And to be proud of that resilience, because we don't do that enough. And also, if you're in a scenario, we were chatting about that earlier, where you've got multiple stressors and challenges all at the same time, again, you'd want to be the Hulk to be able to take it all on, right? So it's understandable that if you've got a huge amount on your plate, your resilience is going to be worn down. It does not mean that you are not resilient. It just means that your resilience is probably a bit worn down, right? And again, we all know, you know, we can take on 1 or 2 stressors here or there, but if it just seems to keep piling up and piling up, our resilience is going to start to get worn down, and that's normal. But again, we need to think about, right, how can I give it a boost? So some things that'll help us with our resilience. Number 1 is good health. So you're all on a quest for good health, physical and mental health. So already that's going to help you with your resilience, right? We've got secure attachments, basic trust in other people, right? And again, we've got the community here in TSD, which is very important. Interpersonal skills, and this is why we talk a lot about this as well, being able to recruit help. And Deborah was talking about that earlier, being able to say, hang on a second, I'm struggling and I need help. Contacting your coach to say, I need help, or somebody else. Again, a foundation of resilience, right? So oftentimes we think, oh, but to be resilient is I don't need any help and I can do it myself. Nuh-uh, that is incorrect. Resilience is being able to ask for help, to be able to recruit help. That is a foundation for resilience, right? We have to get help in so many of our situations in life. So we've got different things like our capacity to plan. So if you can imagine you've got some sort of a situation that's happened and you're thinking, oh, geez, this didn't go to plan at all. But if you have the ability to rethink, if you have the ability to go, right, well, that plan A didn't work, right, what's plan B? Get out the copybook, let's write down plan B. Again, you're setting the foundation for resilience. Self-efficacy, that sense that I can do this, right? Geez, I didn't see this challenge coming, but you know what? I'll be able to handle it. Because look at all the situations I've handled in the past, look at the setbacks I've handled in the past, and I can do it, and I can move forward with that. We've also got all the emotional stuff. So we've got regulating our emotions, right? So instead of going to say, you know, emotional eating, for example, we can regulate our emotions using healthy coping skills. Delaying gratification, right? I would really like to eat that second slice of cake, but I'm not going to because I've set my goals. So I'm just going to have the 1 cake and then I'll have another slice of cake now with the next birthday party that's coming up. That's delayed gratification, right? Not easy, but a key part of resilience. Maintaining our self-esteem, creativity, humor as well, that we can see the fun and the lighter side to life as well. Helping others, and you've all been doing that as well today, which is great. So contributing to others, supporting other people. And also holding faith, and that was mentioned, Jackie was talking about faith earlier on, that your life matters and that your life has meaning, which it does. And including a sense of connection to other people, but, you know, again, of prioritizing your goals and your dreams and continuing to strive towards them. So those are all the pieces. So if you're saying to yourself, geez, I could really work on my resilience, these are some good places to start, because these are kind of the building blocks or the foundations, if you will, for resilience. And we can all identify areas on that list where we say, right, this is something that I need to do, right? Okay, now I'm just going to, it's kind of what we've talked about already, but I'm just going to move on, I think, to our breakout rooms because I'm just conscious of the time. So what I would like you to discuss, and probably only have about 10 minutes or so, we might be able to push it to 12 minutes. How can we use resilience to help us to achieve our healthy lifestyle goals? So thinking about your goals with TSD and how can you use resilience to help you to achieve those goals. Now, remember, of course, if we're practicing resilience in our day-to-day, we're practicing resilience in work and in life, then that's going to free us up then to be able to pursue our TSD goals. So again, it's very much interconnected with life. But I just want you to think about resilience and your TSD goals and how it's going to help you to achieve them. Okay, so I will pop you into the breakout rooms now. And we'll do 3 rooms. Okay. So you should have your invitation there. Welcome back, everybody. All right, we'll fly straight into room number 1. And room number 1 was Andrea, Clarissa, Jane, Jennifer, and Sonia. How did you get on?
We did really well. We talked a lot about journaling and affirmations. So how much journaling can help us to think about our goals, and affirmations can help us to do that as well. And gratitude and kind of working out what I need to do to resolve things, and the highlights of the day, etc., are all really helpful because it builds your resilience.
Yeah.
We had quite a lot of really great ideas. So someone said that she writes out affirmations. I think it was Jennifer writes out affirmations. So she's got a list of affirmations that she loves, and then she writes them into her journal so that when she looks into a journal for that day, there's an affirmation already in there that she really loves.
Yeah, that's great.
And they make her feel more resilient. And then we talked a lot about this phrase, I have not come this far to come this far.
Oh, what a good one. Yeah.
Andrea and a friend are thinking about having that tattooed. Do you know what? I'm very tempted to join them.
Love it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 workout. Don't think JFDI. Just do it and prep the night before, you know, get your gear out, get your weights set up on the barbells, etc. I talked about, I've got 3 words this year: trust, tenacity, and traction. Tenacity is the word for resilience, isn't it? It puts me back on track. I remind myself regularly, am I measuring up to that kind of goal, if you like? We talked about putting post-it notes around the house with relevant affirmations on. We talked about spending time just quietly looking at going through the notes and the learning from the week and just kind of thinking it through. Someone suggested, I think it was Jennifer, said her daughter has a proof jar. In there go the things that the proof that she's doing great. So when she's not feeling great, she puts her hand in and looks, and it reminds her. And we said you could actually add some affirmations in there if you wanted as well too. That's it.
That's amazing. Well done, group 1. That was fantastic. And there was a quiz there for the quote. But I see you've put it back into the chat there, which is great. Yeah, I haven't come this far to only come this far. Yeah, that's fantastic. It's on room 1. Jeez, that was productive. Fantastic. All right, room number 2. Benny, Caroline, Deborah, Denny, and Lorraine. How did you get on?
We were discussing about the importance of being able to ask for help.
Oh, very good. Yes.
How important the inner circle is for asking for help.
Very good.
And you know how people like Denny, like Deborah, the ones who've been here a while, how important their knowledge is to us who just like Lorraine and I've only been here a couple of months. How important that they are and seeing what they've gone through to get where they are.
And that guidance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And those people are important in the group to help. Anybody? Lorraine, have you got anything to add? Or
absolutely, yeah, very good. Yeah, and
it's about like openness, wasn't it? And
oh yeah,
I think, you know, we were all saying that when you join a process like that, many of us are sort of the people that everyone comes to for help. And sometimes, you know, being really open and speaking about things does make you feel a bit more vulnerable, but actually you get so much more from that, which in turn does make you more resilient.
Very good. Yeah, excellent. Fantastic. Excellent stuff. Well done, room 2. That was brilliant. And lastly, we have room 3. Jackie, Anne, Hannah, Heidi and Sati. How did you get on?
Oh dear.
Jackie.
We went a bit off piste.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Are you happy to share?
Off piste, good.
We were letting Jackie talk.
Ah.
So.
Oh, come on, ladies, do share.
Come on, do spell. Give us a hint.
That's up to Jackie. But I think we were talking as well about taking time to breathe and just having, because we all go 90 miles an hour, and then suddenly we find ourselves, okay, what's happened here?
Yeah.
And it's okay to take the time out and take some time to ourselves and do what we want to do.
Very good. And that's such a key part about resilience, because as we were talking about, when we're going through a lot, it starts to get worn down. So the opposite to that is, well, we've got to boost it. You know, we've got to take that recovery time. And exactly as you said there, taking time to switch off. Resilience is not, I'm going all the time. Resilience is also recognizing that I need to take some time out and I need to recover and I need to relax and I need to reboot my resilience. Yeah.
So I was a bit emotional. But that's, they let me talk.
Very good. Excellent. Yeah, well done.
That was me.
Yeah. It was about recharging your batteries and supporting each other, and that, you know, how other people's experiences help us all keep going, because we see other people have done it, so we can too, kind of.
Absolutely. One of the there's about 5 to 7 pillars of kind of self-confidence and self-esteem and things like that. And one of them is what we call vicarious experience. And that's where exactly we see other people doing the thing that we want to do. And we go, well, if that person can do it, I sure can too. It's doable, right?
Yeah.
It's manageable. It's not to say it's easy, but absolutely. And it's very important. And as we said, you know, it's always great to be able to give that guidance and as well to acknowledge yourselves if you're further on down the road. Geez, remember when I was at that stage and look where I am now, and to take great pride in that. And then also, as we said, to share in that wisdom, and that support is very important. If we have social support, there's very little on earth that we can't do. Without it, it's very, very difficult. So you're absolutely right to use the inner circle and to support each other. And you have. I mean, tonight is a brilliant example of that, of the support that has been here for the last 60 minutes, which is great. And it's really, really important. And that we pick people up when we're in a position to, because we might be in their position in 6 months' time or in 12 months' time. And then they'll be in a position to pick us up. And imagine if we all took that perspective. We'd all be swimming through life. But listen, well done, everybody. Those were fantastic discussions. Excellent stuff. And it was great to see you all. So go forward, either be recovering and rebooting your resilience, or keep on practicing it over the next week. And I see you all then.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, everybody. It's been fabulous.
Bye. Lovely to see you all.
Bye.